Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi there, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins with DailyAlchemy.com, and today I want to share a little bit about my guru and some personal true life stories about how I came to have a guru and what that means and what kind of crazy magical things have happened in my life. Now, first of all, I would like to say that you don't need to have a guru, and if you would ask any Hindu, they would tell you that I am a very poor example of a devotee. I kind of have my guru there for me when I need him, and that's not really how the Hindu religion works, but I'm not a true Hindu, and I never sought out to have a guru. So I was taking a yoga class, and many of you may know that there are lineages of yoga that have gurus that are at the head of them. And my yoga teacher followed a guru. We kind of call him Swamiji, and a lot of gurus are called that as sort of a nickname. And I'll give you a link to his website, but I'm not going to go into a long history about him and his names. If you're drawn to it, you can go and see his website. He does beautiful healing music, which is something I am going to talk about in this episode. But first, his picture was on the altar, and I was drawn and interested through my yoga teacher at the time, and I started taking more yoga, and I was training to be a yoga teacher. And my yoga teacher invited me to come to several different places, but I'm trying to remember when the first time I met the guru was. I think I went to Florida maybe the first time. I know that every time he would come, he actually came to Augusta, Georgia, where I lived at that time. And I also went to see him in Florida. I went to see him in Pennsylvania once or twice. And I also went to see him one of his concerts in Charlotte. So before I actually saw him in life, he started coming to me and visiting me in dreams. So it was kind of like I didn't choose to have a guru, but he chose to send me energy. And I started getting these downloads of energy when I would see him in dreams. And it was like very hard to explain, but I would feel this oneness with the whole world after experiencing that for a short period of time in moments. And then I would just kind of be on a blissful high. But every time I would come to see him in person, it would seem like there were my own challenges and barriers and obstacles would come up, and it would be a very emotional time. There were three kind of interesting miracles that I wanted to tell you about that occurred. One was that I wanted my husband to come and see him. And my yoga teacher told me that my husband's not nearly as spiritual as I am, and it's just not his focus, which is fine. Wonderful, in fact, because his focus is on other things that definitely need to happen in our world. He fixes things, he puts things together, he deals with all the things that I don't like to deal with. But she's like, don't, just let it go, and he'll come as close as he can. And the interesting thing was, when the guru comes to a devotee's house, and he was coming to a house, and I was invited to come to the house when he was visiting. And the Indian people who lived there were putting out the flowers and some chalk drawings up along the sidewalk to, I'm not sure what the word would be, but just kind of to invite him in and show respect. And interestingly enough, my husband was called out on a call to fix an air conditioner, and he normally doesn't even do that, but they had gotten busy. And he went to the house right next door, and he was like, there was this house, and there were these flowers, and what was going on? And so she said, see, he came as close as he could to the energy, which was right next door, which was very interesting to me. The second thing that happened was I was told that, you don't pick a guru picks you. And, if you're to truly work with a guru, that their picture would probably be in your house before you ever even met them, and you would know about it, might be there for years. And I was like, well, yeah, that could maybe really easily happen for a family of Indian descent where the gurus are from India and they might be in the newspaper, or there might be something about their ashram in a book or something like that. But in my house, I just didn't see how that could happen. And I was at my home with my family home where my parents were. And I actually had my yoga teacher with me, and we were talking about things, and suddenly that came to mind. And I went and got a book off of a shelf that had been in my parents' home for years. In fact, I'm trying to remember. And it had something from my guru, Swamiji's temple in Pennsylvania there. So it had been there for years and years and years in our house without me knowing. So I thought that was really neat. But the last story that I wanted to share with you was by far the most magical. Swamiji does healing music, and it is beautiful, soothing, and healing. And I am going to put a link in the show notes. So if you want to listen to his music, you don't have to be a devotee. In fact, even though I consider him my guru, I don't consider myself a devotee because I'm not a true practitioner of the Hindu religion. And even though he says you don't have to be, in fact, in his temple in Pennsylvania, he has symbols from like all of the major religions and doesn't ask anybody to be strongly following anyone. But for me, I am following more of meditation and spiritual guidance in my own heart. But if there is a guru or a master or someone who is helping me along my path, I am always welcoming that help. So, even though I'm not a true devotee, I still consider him my guru. And so I was going to see his concert of healing music about, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember. I lived in South Carolina at the time, so it's been less than 10 years ago. I'm feeling like it was probably 6 or 7 years ago that I was going to see this concert. And my friend, my yoga teacher, we were living in different cities at this time, had gotten my ticket for me, and she was supposed to meet me at the venue, and it was downtown Charlotte. And at the time, I met my mother in a hotel so she could watch my children. So my husband had to work while I was going to this concert. So I left her with the children in the hotel, and I'm driving downtown Charlotte in the dark. And I had a horrible time. I kept getting lost on these one-way streets, and a lot of these feelings and emotions that would come up every time I would be in the same city with him were coming up. And I was like, just, okay, release and let it go. And so I got to the parking garage and got parked, and I was a little bit nervous, and I was trying to walk as quickly as possible because I knew that the concert was going to be starting soon, and I didn't know. I couldn't get in touch with my friends. My yoga teacher did not have a cell phone, and so I just hoped that I would be able to get into the concert. But whether or not, I kind of got this sense of peace, like, I will be here, I can sit outside and just soak up the energy. But I went and I walked up to the ticket booth and was going to ask perhaps if she had left my ticket there, because it looked like everybody was pretty much gone. I had already gone inside. There was nobody outside milling around. I went up to the ticket booth, and the gentleman there said, "Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're here. I've been holding your ticket for you. Here, it's ready. Go on in now, quickly." And so I took the ticket, and I didn't ask any questions. He didn't ask my name, which I thought was strange, but I guess maybe he just knew. And I assumed that my yoga teacher had left the ticket for me. And so I went and I followed the seat, and I was like second row in the center. None of my friends were around, and I was sitting in the middle of like two Indian gentlemen in very traditional garb. And so I felt a little bit out of place, but I sunk into my seat, and the next thing I knew, I was just transported, is the only way to put it. Transported to another dimension. I heard the music. I remember briefly seeing Swamiji come out onto stage, but the energy of him and the other people around and just the spiritual love and light, it's almost like mesmerized me. I went into such a deep meditation without even trying to, that all I remember is just feeling healed, feeling loved, and feeling blissful. And it was just a beautiful experience. And after the concert was over, I was still sitting there, not quite grounded, not quite back to the space, when my friend, my yoga teacher, came up to me and found me. She's like, "What happened?" I didn't, no, and I just, at that point in time, I knew it didn't even matter to me why I'd gotten that ticket and sat where I did. I just knew that that was what was supposed to happen. And I went back to my car with the lightest of hearts and was able to easily navigate back to the hotel. But it's an experience that is really difficult to put into words, but one that I will never forget. And I find that whenever you start on this spiritual path of growth, there are a couple things that will always happen. You won't have the same magical stories that I do, but you'll have your own magical stories. You may or may not ever have a guru that comes to you and sends you energy and sends you love, but you will have spirit guides, you will have passed over family members, you will have God and angels and everyone that is sending you love. And in fact, they're sending you love now. I think the spiritual process and the focusing in on personal and spiritual growth just makes us more aware of how loved we are and how magical life is. And I wish that for all of you that are listening. And I have a feeling that a lot of you have a lot of magical stories. And I would love to hear them if you do. You can always send me an email or a tweet or a message on my Facebook page. And you can get to all of those from dailyalchemy.com. So with that, I invite you to go out into the world today and see all the magic around you and enjoy it to the utmost. Namaste. This episode of the Adventures in Alchemy podcast is brought to you by the Magical Life Manifesting Club. This club is a place where you can hook up with other like-minded people and learn how to create more magic in your life 1 month at a time. We have a mini class every month on a different manifesting or alchemy, law of attraction topic, which includes 2 Q&As, usually 3 or 4 videos, some PDFs, different assignments, a private Facebook group where we can link up and talk and share and ask questions and support each other. And it is a great community, especially if you don't have as many like-minded people in your real life to help you and support you and not judge you. Some of the topics that we have covered that are still there, and when you join up, you get access to all of these immediately. We have Prayer-Reading, Journaling, and Scripting class, a Body Love Alchemy class, an Abundance Alchemy class, an Angel Alchemy class, a Money Alchemy class, which is really in-depth. There are 30 emails that go with that you can either just look at in the space, or you can actually have the email sent to you every day to go through the class that way. That class was also sold as a standalone for $27, but the people who are in my club, they get all of my little courses. Unless it's something hugely major or private coaching, they get everything for free. So they got that for free as part of being in the club. And they also have a beginner's manifesting course, also the 30-day manifesting reset course. And this month we're working on healing alchemy, and I am a Reiki master, so I'm able to train people in Reiki and attune them in Reiki. So we'll be doing level 1 and level 2 attunements. in Reiki. And at some point, I may even go up to level 3, but I'm going to have to play with how to do that. But so much is in this group. When you sign up and you get linked into the space, you can just play all day. And the nice thing is you can download it all from Simpleroo. So here's the scoop. Right now, it is only $15 a month, and you can cancel anytime. But I'm going to be changing that really soon because I've had people who have been supporting me since day one on this, and it's not really fair to them if I let new people join, download everything, and leave in a month. So it's going to switch over to a yearly membership. Believe me, there is new stuff every month, and there's already over 6 months worth of content in here, all kinds of crazy goodness. So a year membership, you would still continue to get new content every month, but that way I ensure that the people who have been supporting me, they don't pay more and get less than everybody else. And I think that's the best way to make it fair. So if you want to hop in on and try it, while it's still $15 a month and you could opt out anytime and not do a yearly membership, now is the time. You can go to dailyalchemy.com and you can click on the big button on the right-hand side of your screen that says Magical Life Manifesting Club, and it will show you everything about it and where to sign up. And you can also look in the show notes. I think I always have a link there for the Magical Life Manifesting Club because it is my joy to spend time with this club and to create magic with this club and to see all the wonderful things that happen to the members of this club. So thank you guys and go check it out. Bye-bye. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.